Hello, this is your man Johnny Mac, and I'm here with this episode of I Believe. And I believe if you follow these rules, I have the formula to ensure your man doesn't cheat on you. Stay tuned. Oh, and by the way, this isn't just for the ladies, guys, you should listen to on this episode of I Believe. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Ladies, take out your notepad. You're going to need to know this. All right? I got a series of rules that after many, many years, I found this to be as foolproof as you're going to find. Nothing is 100% guaranteed, but such is life. Anyway, pay close attention to what I'm going to say here, because the first two rules and all the little subparts of each rule are prerequisites. And if you don't follow the prerequisites, you can't do the rest of it, okay? So here's the deal. Let's get started. Rule number 1. Find a guy who is worth a damn. All right? I can't tell you how many times a woman has been cheated on, complains about why does my man cheat on me, and you found yourself a piece of garbage as a man. Well, of course he's going to cheat on you because you didn't find a good man. You found a piece of garbage. So, part 1A, or the first part of rule number 1 is, let's go ahead and get started with this. Don't friend zone a good man. Okay? There's tons of good guys out there. Ones that'll make good lifelong partners, but they may not be as super hot as you want. Okay? But here's the deal with that. The guy that you're probably going to want to spend the rest of your life with is the average but amazing person that you probably would have as a good friend when you're younger, but when the time comes and you're in your late 20s and you're going into your 30s, he's already been snatched up and he's gone. He's off the market and you're stuck by yourself, wondering when you're going to find a good man. So here's the deal. The guy that you have friend zoned who is absolutely head over heels for you, he's the one you're supposed to give a chance to. That's the one you should be paying attention to and thinking in the future. Now, number 1, you got to sow your oats and get all that out of the way. But when it's time to start looking at that serious relationship, the guy you probably been friend zoning, who's absolutely head over heels for you, that's the one you're supposed to be with. Now, there's exceptions to that. There's exceptions to every rule. Make it work for you. Next up, rule number 1B. Do not commit yourself to an abusive guy, an insecure guy, a bad guy, the jerk, the loser. Cut your losses. Get rid of them. You're a lady. You can find a man. Trust me. It's way easier for a woman to find a man than it is for a man to find a woman. Okay? That's a given. Okay? Look, if you're horny and you need to go get some, how hard do you have to work? What do you got to do? Chances are it's a text message, a quick phone call, or just dress yourself up and put yourself out there. You're going to find somebody. You know how much more difficult it is for a guy? A guy is going to take him forever. He's going to be just waiting for the opportunity. And look, as a woman, you cannot commit yourself to a guy who's a piece of garbage. that kind of goes back to the very first part, finding a guy who's worth a damn, okay? You have to find yourself a good one. And it's probably the hardest of the rules. Because if you can't find a good man, forget about having him cheat on you. Sometimes you just end up with the wrong person, the wrong situation, and then you're kind of stuck. And so, rule number 1B, do not commit yourself to a bad guy. All right. Rule number 1C, do not force a man to commit before he's ready. You might have found a good guy. You might have found a guy who you can spend the rest of your life with, but you force him before he's ready. There's a lot of guys out there that have been forced into a situation that they didn't want to be in. Sometimes a woman gets herself pregnant just to keep a man around. He feels forced. The next thing you know, he's gone. And then you're stuck. It doesn't make life better. It doesn't make things better for you. So anyway, look, that's a pretty simple one. I don't even have to go into too much detail. If the guy's not ready, be patient. If he's there for you and he loves you, he's going to be there. Okay? Just don't force him to commit before he's ready. Now, rule 1D is very similar to C, and do not move in together until you're ready. You need to give each other enough space until that time comes that you know it's right. Now, you'll know it's right. When the time is right, you do it. Make sure that both of you are committed, and there you go. If you try and force yourself to move in and you just don't know enough about each other, now you're on a lease for a year and a half, or whatever the lease is for, and 3 months in, you guys are at each other's throat because he leaves the toilet seat up, he pees on things, you're leaving all your crap all over the sink, and pet peeves, all that kind of stuff. Get to know each other, okay? Just get to know each other first, because little things like that can make a huge difference in a relationship. All right, rule number 1E, and the last part of rule number 1. Make sure he becomes your closest friend. In a relationship, your friendship means everything. If you can't see yourself with that person for the rest of your life, shouldn't be together. Don't force it. If it's not right, it's not right. And obviously, if the man's worth a damn, you're going to want him to be your closest friend, your best friend. Even though you've had your girlfriends, or guys, you've had your boys, your guy friends for years and years and years, it's a different type of friendship, but it is so special when you get it right. And if it ain't right, it ain't right. I'll just keep saying it over and over again. So, make sure he becomes your closest friend. Let's recap rule number 1 real fast. Find a guy who's worth a damn. Don't friend zone a good man. Do not commit yourself to a bad person, a bad guy. Don't force him to commit before he's ready. And I am referring to my notes, by the way. I just don't want to miss anything or forget something. Don't move in until you're ready. And make sure he's your closest friend. And the rest of it should be much easier. Okay. Rule number 2. Earn each other's trust. Very important. Without trust, you got nothing. So let's start breaking this down. Rule number 2, A, trust is earned over time. Can't just automatically trust everybody and expect everything to work out. Not going to happen. You need time. And the other part of that time is consistency. If you're always trusting one another, the person says, I'm going to be here, and they're there. The person says, I'll call you if I'm late, and when they're running late, they call you. When you say, hey, can you pick up the dry cleaning for me? And like, hey, don't worry, I got you. And they take care of it. You know what? You can start to trust that person because they're honest. They're telling you what they're going to do, and they do it. Honesty. And that is going to build your trust. Okay? Honesty will build trust, and consistency will build trust. Without trust, you got nothing. And obviously with rule number 1, if the man's worth a damn and the woman's worth a damn, then you can put your trust in them. All right. You might not understand this part in the beginning, but in time you will. Rule number 2, part B. Men are human. They may want to look at other attractive women, but it doesn't mean he's going to cheat. He might be just looking. Guys are that way. We're human. We're visual creatures. And we look over at a woman and she looks good. Okay. But you know what? We're going home to you. We're with you. Now, obviously, if a woman has a nice pair of breasts and a nice sweet ass or whatever, and she's showing it off, she's expecting people to look at her. We have eyes. We're human. We're going to look. Okay. So we got it in. That's it. End of story. Done. You know how many guys have looked at you and have never spoken to you? Way more than you think. Now look. Guys, you can't be out there staring like a creep. No. Bad form. Don't do it. It's disrespectful. A glance? Okay. Even a couple every now and then, like, oh my God. In your head, you're thinking, whoa, mumbling to yourself, like what she's wearing and how hot she looks. Okay. Keep it to a minimum. Be respectful. But ladies, if you're so jealous that your man glances over and you just start screaming and going crazy on him, number 1, you didn't follow rule number 1. You probably don't have a good man in the beginning because you can't trust him. And number 2, you have to earn that trust. So that leads me into rule number 2, part C. Guys, if she wants to go out, let her. It's trust. It's back and forth. Okay? You have to trust her. She has to trust you. And that means, look, guy, he's going to go out with his buddies. Even if he goes to a bar, even if he's drinking, even if there's women around, even if he's at a strip club. Ladies, by the way, strippers do not sleep with their clients. Get it out of your head. If a guy happens to show up there, not a good idea, guys, but if he happens to go there because some of his single friends are like, hey, we just ended up, we're just going to go to such and such strip club, and they go, have a couple of drinks, have a good time, enjoy the show, and go the hell home to your woman. Okay? Real simple. Guys, if she's dressed to the nines and got her short little skirt on and her top and she's looking hot and sexy, and you're like, oh, you ain't going out. Not like that. Let her go. You have to. Let her go with her girls. She needs her time, just like you have time with the guys. Let her have her time. And ladies, let him have his time too. You guys love each other. You guys are going to be best friends. You're probably going to be together for the rest of your life if you work at it and you do it the right thing. But yes, you must trust one another. And that means, yes, if they go out with their friends, let them go. If they say, I'm going to be home by 1 o'clock, you should be coming home around 1 o'clock. And if you can't come home at 1, you should be sending messages, phone calls, whatever it is you got to do, and be like, look, I think we're going to be out a little bit later than I expected. If you want to wait up, you can wait up. But honey, I'm coming home to you. Whether that's the guy saying it or the girl saying it or whomever, trust. Okay? Okay. Rule number 2. Part D and E. There's a lot of these, but please stick with me because trust is more important than anything. This is still a prerequisite, by the way. Because rule number 3 is incredibly important because that's the heart of everything. Okay? So part D is this. If somebody asks you your phone number or asks you, for whatever, they're hitting on you, you can decline it. Of course you should be. But then tell your partner. Simple. Wife does that all the time. Guys like, oh yeah, let me get your number, or here's my number, or whatever. She laughs about it, and then she tells me about it. If she says, hey, I'm getting off at 11 o'clock tonight, she's walking in the door at 11:30. So there's trust built. That's what you need to build. Okay. And speaking of phone numbers and phones, guys, very, very important one here. This is E, part E. Guys, if you have stuff on your phone that you do not want her to see, get rid of it. Do it. If you're committing to her, she's going to be your one and only. Exes, naked pictures, old voicemails from somebody you used to be with, or videos of something. Clear out your internet browsing history. Just get rid of it. Okay? And if she says, can I see your phone? Yeah, here. Here's the phone. She's going to be like, oh, shit. She's going to be looking through the phone. Like, after a while, she's going to be like, oh, okay. Oh, by the way, ladies, do the same thing. Guys are sending you dick pics. Guys are sending you whatever. Sending text messages, trying to hook up with you and, talking dirty to you. Delete all that crap. Get rid of it. You're committing to one person. That's what you got to do. If you commit to that one person, there should be nobody else around that you need to be messing with. Don't do it. All right? That one can be kind of hard because there's a lot of privacy on a phone. But you know what? You're building trust, and the two of you are becoming one. Okay, the last two parts of rule number 2 are going to go like this. Rule number 2, part F. Balance. I'm going to go through my notes here, okay? Life is about balance. You do for him, he'll do for you. Sometimes they need a little nudge. Gotta let them know. Hey, I'm doing all this stuff for you. You're not doing anything for me. You're not helping me out. All that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. If he's a good guy and he's worth a damn, he'll pick up the slack. Okay? Relationships cannot work if they're one-sided. If you're a giver and you're always providing and all they're doing is taking, it's one-sided. There's no balance there. The relationship is going to fail. You understand that? It will fail. So do not do that. Always refer back to rule number 1, and that way you should know. Okay. Now, now if all he's doing is giving to you, and all you're doing is sitting on top of your little pedestal of I'm such a wonderful woman, and just taking, I'm like, what? That's it? That's all you're giving me? The relationship is one-sided, and all you're doing is hurting him too. Don't do it. Because you have to be worth a damn too. Look, guys are going to make sacrifices. And women, you're going to make sacrifices too. So on your lady side, hear about this. You like your purses, you like your shoes, you like to go shopping, you like to do these things. Guys don't care about that. So when you're sitting there talking about stuff he don't really care about, he's just sitting there smiling, nodding his head, yeah. Because he cares about you. He's putting up with this stuff that he would normally, as a single guy, never put up with. But he cares about you. So there he is. He's there for you. It's extremely important. Ladies, you got to do for him too. If he's a big sports guy and you don't really like sports, maybe he's a big football fan, sit down with him and say, can you explain the game a little bit to me so when I sit here and I watch it, at least I kind of know what's going on? He's going to be like, what? Really? Yeah. Yeah, have a seat. And let me explain. And he'll give you the idea. You don't even have to like it. You just need to understand it. Or at least attempt to. The attempt is more important than actually doing it. And maybe in time you'll start to understand football and like it. You guys, you're not going to be a big shopper like women are, not the same way. Some guys are really into shoes, and they got their little collection of shoes and whatnot. It's a little different than how women do it. Same thing with purses and dresses and other outfits and things like that. Some guys are into that sort of thing. Most are not. Yeah. Balance. Okay? Sacrifice for one another. Whether even when he's into comic books or whatever, just like try to figure it out. Try to figure out why he's into that sort of thing and what is the big pull. Why is he so drawn to it? You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Last part, rule number 2. This is our prerequisites before the actual cheating, no cheating thing. Rule number 2, part G, forgive minor indiscretions. You have to be forgiving. Guys are stupid sometimes, okay? Sometimes guys are kids. They're big kids. Sometimes their guys are 40. They're still kids. Deep down, they're still kind of mama's boys, I've known guys like that. They're whatever. Anyway, for a lifetime commitment, they love their autonomy. They love being independent. And when a woman comes in and starts putting down rules, they rebel. Sometimes a guy's going to be staring at a girl's butt too long. You just look at him like, really? Yeah. He's not going to sleep with her. He's just looking. Shouldn't be doing it. But, normally it's that's it. That should be the end of it. But sometimes guys are stupid. Sometimes guys do dumb things. Guys' minds are different than women. You have to understand that, okay? Just like you're different than guys, and guys have to understand you too. Most of the time we don't, but we try. Look, if for any reason an ex happens to text or call, and he's not really supposed to be talking to her, but maybe she's in a bad situation, she doesn't know who to turn to, you got to communicate, okay? The two of you have to talk. If you're like, look, she's in a bad situation, she doesn't know who to talk to, she doesn't know who to turn to, let me fix this, okay? And then that'll be it. And I'll just kind of let her know, look, I'm with somebody else now. And as a friend, I'll try to help you out, all right? Sometimes that happens. Most of the time it's like, look, can't really help you. I'm sorry. I wish you good luck. Goodbye. Whatever. But if a guy does something stupid, okay, He's not out there humping other girls or whatever, but let's say that he's doing something where he's, I don't know, whatever it is. It's nothing too bad. If you had a puppy and your puppy poops on the carpet, you don't throw the puppy out in the street and say, all right, one time, you're done, you're out of here. No. You discipline him. You let him know, I'm not going to take that, okay? When you put your foot down, ladies, when you put your foot down, you know you're the boss. When it all comes down to it, the guy might be making some of the biggest decisions and things like that, but you know what? You're the boss when it comes down to it, because you have to keep the guy in check. It's your job. Keep him in check. You know that. As I said, sometimes you got to play mommy. He's a kid. You got to discipline him. You know, if your kid does something stupid and flushed a Hot Wheel down the toilet, you don't kick the shit out of him. You don't beat him up. You don't say, you're not my kid anymore. No. Forgive the, poor language. I apologize. But no, seriously. Your guy is like a big kid sometimes, especially when he's in a first time being in a really long, serious relationship. You still love him. You have to love him, otherwise you wouldn't be in the situation you're in. So, look, communicate and be honest with one another, okay? So, let's go over these rules real quick. Rule number 2, earn each other's trust. It's going to take time and consistency. Men are human, and they do dumb things and keep their eyes sometimes looking at what they're not supposed to, but guys can't help it. You just have to forgive that. Going back to part G, forgive it. If she wants to go out with her girlfriends, let her go. If guys want to go out with their friends, let them go. Not every day. But you got to go out and have a little fun. Blow off some steam, enjoy yourself. Girls, go out with your girls. Guys, go out with your guys. And there's going to be times that the two of you are going to go out together and meet up with all your other friends. Great. Enjoy it. But do it together. Okay? Someone gives you your phone number or asks your number or whatever like that, let your partner know. Hey, yeah, this guy was hitting on me today. Or this girl was actually giving me her phone number. It was weird, but yeah, she gave me her number and, whatever. Delete the crap off your phone. So if he or she happens to get your phone, so what? What are they going to see? Nothing. There's nothing there. You got a clean slate and a clean conscience, right? Balance. You got to give, receive, and forgive and sacrifice for one another, okay? And forgive minor discretions. Anything major, you might need to take a little bit of a break, but don't commit until you trust each other. And this is all part of building trust. So that is rule number 2. And now we're going to get into the most important part. Rule number 3. You found a good man. You built trust. You moved in together. Now, ladies, this is where the work begins. You spent all that time getting him. Now, you got to keep him. How do you do it? Rule number 3. Provide everything at home he needs so he does not need to go outside to find it. This is extremely important. Imagine it. Every single night, a man is looking for some loving. He wants to hug you. He wants to caress you. He wants to kiss you. He wants to get a little freaky. But every night, the answer's no. Every night, the answer's no. And after him begging and 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 begging, and finally she's like, here, hurry up. Yeah, that's romantic. Relationships are like that sometimes. She's just not into it. She doesn't really want it. I know there's physical reasons, and sometimes it's something else, but if you're perfectly willing to and you're happy to, by the way, if you're going to be making love to somebody, or even doing something freaky, or doing whatever, don't you think it should be with the person you love? Only makes sense. Look, if he has it at home, he doesn't need to go out and find it elsewhere. Like ladies, if your man is neglecting you all the time and after a while you just can't take it anymore, you're looking for affection, you're looking for loving, you're looking for somebody that wants to make you feel special, and finally somebody comes along and he does, you try to resist it for a while, but eventually you're like, you know what? Screw it. I need it. And he ain't giving it to me. So yeah. Provide him at home what he wants and what he needs at home, at least enough, so he's a happy man. Otherwise, somebody else is going to want to give it to him eventually. And he'll be very reluctant because he loves you. He doesn't want to cheat. He'll even be telling you over and over again that he just wants to be with you. That's part of that sacrifice. So sacrifice. And do it with the one you love. If he's into something kinky, give it a try. If you're not into it, at least you tried it. And you did it with somebody that you love and somebody who you trust. But that way, he gets to experience it a little bit. And you know what? He's going to be happy at home anyway. Rule number 3, part 2, or part B. This is it. There's only 2 parts of this one. Number 1, the most important part here, make yourself and your relationship too damn good to leave. That's simple. You know how easy this part is? The hard part is rule number 1 and rule number 2. Finding a good man, wait until the timing is right, moving in together after, and then building that trust. Loving one another, trusting one another. You're moving in together, you're getting married, fiance, whatever. You're planning on spending the rest of your life together. So, you make yourself and your relationship too good to leave. Imagine you're having sex with him all the time, and he's like, oh man, she's wild. What's he gonna do? Complain to his friends? Like, oh man, she has way too much sex with me. Guys gonna be like, shh, are you complaining? Or, man, she's a great cook. I just don't know if I can continue eating all this amazing food. You know how many guys would kill for something like that? I'm not saying you have to be barefoot naked in the kitchen. Well, pregnant in the kitchen, or what? I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is simple is, if y'all got to eat, so take your turns, do what you got to do, but, you're providing for him. You're being mommy too, because if you're having children with him, you're going to be a mom anyway. So you're going to have to be a mom to him half the time anyway. You got to keep him in line. So you have to accept the role. You're going to be mommy, and he gets to be daddy. Sometimes in bed, and other times for real. But you know what? If your relationship was way too good to leave, it doesn't matter who's coming up to him and throwing it in his face. He doesn't want it, because he knows the consequences are way too severe. Far too severe. Imagine he's going to be like, oh, I'm going to get, 15 minutes of fun with, Bubbles over here. but that's going to ruin everything that I have with this amazing woman who I live with, who I'm planning to be married to, or maybe you are married to. Oh, hell no. He doesn't want to go through divorce. Divorce sucks. If there's kids involved, then you got to deal with that too. Oh, and the splitting up. Oh, you know what? No. No way. Look, rule number 3. Provide everything he needs at home so he doesn't have to go out and look for it elsewhere. And, part with it, good loving, something to eat, comfort, respect, love at home. And then you make that relationship so good, he'd be an absolute fool to leave. And you know what? If after all that he still leaves or he still cheats, rule number 1 wasn't followed properly. All right? So let's get to this last part real quick, and we'll wrap it up. Rule number 4, balance. I know I spoke about balance before, but those first 3 rules, ladies, I did refer to guys a little bit in there, but those are mainly for you. This part here, part 4. Everything I have said for the ladies to do, for the women to do, guys, flip it. It's on you now. You must do the same. Every single rule. Make sure you got a good woman. If you have a good woman who you know can be a great wife, a great partner in your life, don't friend zone her. Don't kick her to the curb. Don't treat her like garbage. Treat her with all the respect in the world, because that woman, especially in your time of need, that you're having a bad time, and she's going to be the only person who's going to be there for you. That is a gift that no amount of money can ever repay that. Okay? So, look, good woman, sacrifice for one another, balance, treat her and make your relationship on your side so good that she ain't going to leave you either. So that means you got to work. Once you find them and you built that trust, you got a good woman, then you got to make yourself so good that she doesn't want to leave you. If you turn into a piece of shit, she's going to probably want to leave you. She's going to regret the decision she made, and she doesn't want to be with you no more. Looks fade. But what's in here, that stays. So look, if you have any stories, you got any comments, if you think what I'm saying is ridiculous, or if it's right on, if you want to add something, if you want me to do a follow-up to this, send your questions in. Send in, whatever. And just put all that stuff down below. I want to hear from you. I hope it all makes a lot of sense to you. And look, good luck to you. All right. This is my first episode of I Believe. And I've got a bunch of them that I'm going to be working on. And hopefully this will be a good thing and be good for everybody. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to head out. And good luck to you. And treat each other with respect. We need a lot more of that. Okay? All right. It's Johnny Mac saying peace. I'm outie.